So by show of hands, how many of you have heard of Steve Jobs? Okay. When he passed, Steve Jobs was worth $31 billion with a B. Now, how many of you sitting in those seats today would change places with Steve Jobs? Raise your hand, please. Nobody, right? I didn't think so. So is it fair to say that your health is worth $31 billion? It's fair to say that, right? And is it also fair to say that your health is your greatest asset? It's the most valuable thing you have, wouldn't you say? And that's why Alex called me here today, to share a message that is so profound and life-changing. I call it the neurostructural connection. Everybody say that with me today. Neurostructural connection. Thanks for participating. By the way, you're going to get the most out of today if you actually share and connect with us today. And I find that if you participate, participation leads to transformation. Everybody say transformation. You want to be transformed today a little bit? A little louder? Yes? I like that. That way we're involved together, okay? We're going to share an amazing story here today that is being put up on the screen as we talk. And the biggest thing we want to share is that the body has an ability to heal itself, and we all know that, right? So our goal is to reconnect that connection. Everybody here feels all connected? Raise your hand if you feel all connected. Oh, wow, you guys are good. I have to come see you then. Maybe you guys can be the doctor. The fact is, all of us can probably improve. If we have no pain whatsoever, can we improve some areas of our health? Yes or yes? Yeah, absolutely. We want to be healthier than we are today. Even if we feel good, we're eating great, we're raw foodists, we're meditating and doing yoga every day and feeling absolutely amazing, we will absolutely... Now, we know that the spine, by the way, is the neurostructural connective system. And if you put all those nerves together and strung them around the world, they'd actually be able to reach around the world. That's how many nerves you have in your body. That's pretty cool, isn't it? And it's the only system that actually all the nerves are connected to. The notochord, which is the first thing formed in your body as an infant, as actually a fetus, the first thing that forms is your nervous system. And off of that forms all of that. And it's the only system completely encased in bone. It's protected, okay? Brain is protected by the skull, and the movable vertebra, which thank God we have them, thank God we can move, but if one of those gets slipped out of alignment, we have some challenges. So neuroorganic connection means that every cell, tissue, and organ is connected to the body through the nerves. The brain sends messages down the spinal cord. Do I have a pointer here? From there and all the way down through to the lower part of your back. So everything is from the top to the bottom. So that means heart, lung, stomach, kidney, digestion, elimination, anything you can think of is connected to your body through the nerves in your spine. So that's important you have those bones protecting that area, right? And we know people like Christopher Reeves and other people who unfortunately have not had the connection as much as we need, right? Because what couldn't he do? He couldn't breathe on his own. He couldn't sweat on his own. He couldn't do a lot of things, and ultimately his body couldn't regenerate because that's what your nervous system does. It allows you to recreate your cells newer and newer each day. Now, of course, that organ connection needs to be continuous. Health equals all those functions operating at 100%. But unfortunately, because of the stresses in our lives, those bones get misaligned. We're going to talk a little bit later about how they get misaligned, but it causes these misalignments. And that misalignment is a structural one. That's where the structural comes from the nervous. And the nervous system, the neurostructural misalignment, leads to sickness and disease. First dis-ease and then disease. You follow? Disharmony, dis-ease, lack of ease in your body and your nervous system, and ultimately disease, which is the end stage, isn't it? It's actually the thing, what we have here is 100% function. The brain goes to the heart, heart's functioning 100%. Who knows if their heart's functioning 100%? Remember participation. Who thinks they're functioning 100%? You hope that you, right? Now, but you don't know how to tell that, right? So if you happen to get a subluxation, which everybody say sub, lux, ation. Repeat that, subluxation. You guys are the best. So when that subluxation occurs, it disconnects the communication between the spine and the nerves, and of course, whatever organ. It could be the heart, the lungs, the kidneys. 80% isn't noticeable. How about 50%? Would you feel that? Might you know when the disconnection happened? What might happen? What happens to your heart? It could skip a beat. It could also, it goes to 40%, you might have a what? Heart attack. But isn't that the end stage? Isn't the disease and the symptom just the tip of the iceberg? But we want to get to the underlying cause of that. And we find the structural misalignments called what, folks? Oh, gosh, come on, guys. Called what? Right on. It actually is the thing that we find is the underlying cause to many of the health challenges that are out there. Does that mean you need to eat well? Absolutely. Exercise? Absolutely. But I've never seen somebody massage or exercise their spine back into alignment. Even yoga, my yogis, they can bend their heads over. They're still misaligned. They're still subluxated. It means because everybody, well, who should get adjusted? Who should get their spine aligned? Thank you. From what time to what time? Birth to death. Cradle to grave, womb to tomb. You got it. Ooh, I like you in the front. I didn't plant her. She's not part of my, I don't know her. I just met her earlier today, though. So what causes these subluxations or misalignments? Well, I'm not going to go through all of them, but it's basically physical stress. All of us have that every day and have had traumas, car accidents, falls, sitting at that computer on the phone. We all know that, right? And of course, the chemical stresses, the air you're breathing right now, the water hopefully that you're drinking, right? Who's drinking that 7.8 amazing, delicious Mountain Valley spring water? Everybody? Good stuff. I have it in the office. I use it at home. I have a filtration system from, again, with Alex connects us with, and I actually fill it up in the glass bottles. So people think I'm drinking wine all day. And emotional. Who has that? Everybody, right? Say, I do. Come on. I do. I even have it too. But you know what? I don't have the fear of public speaking, so thank God. Windsor autopsy report. There's an autopsy report done back in the 20s where they did 200 cadavers, and they found that every cadaver, ooh, that's nasty. Did you have your lunch? Okay. So when the bone goes out of alignment, it actually presses on the nerve, and they showed that every organ that had a nerve supplied to it, the more degenerated the spine, the worse the organ, the sicker the organ was. So, for instance, the heart's not going to function at full potential. They found that in cadavers. 1920. When did it come out? Never. Why? You know why. They don't want you to know the truth, do they? They don't want you to be well. That's not good for business, is it? So, I'll be a little controversial today. You guys okay with that? Yeah. We're at the Naval Expo, right? It's the place to do it. But I like to do it on TV. You'll see me someday, guys. One day, I'll be the Tony Robbins of healthcare. Mark my words. I'm saying it on the stage. I'm saying it into the camera. Everybody give me a round of applause already? Let's jump up in the air like Tony Robbins does. So the spinal misalignment charts that my staff should have already given out to you, which she's going to do now, she didn't do because she didn't want you to be distracted, but she's going to give this chart out to you that's going to show each level of the spine and how it's related to organs. If I speak a little fast, I have a very short time. In these 15 minutes, though, I'm going to teach you things that you may have never heard, or if you have heard, unless everybody's getting adjusted for wellness and bringing their children as soon as they're born all the way to the time they die, you're not getting chiropractic. You need to live chiropractic. And how do you know if you're misaligned? Well, posture's a window of the spine. So if I had time, and if you come to my lecture tomorrow at 4 o'clock, we'll go through and have you guys check each other's posture. And we also have a booth over there that has a posture analysis as well. Poor posture equals a misaligned spine. Proper posture equals an aligned spine. Maximum function, optimal health. What does poor posture equal? Misaligned spine, interference, and the symptoms and diseases. They found this out in 1994 in a journal of pain management, and they proved that the direct effects, if you see that, the physiological functions of breathing, hormones, as well as spinal headaches, mood, blood pressure, not back and neck pain. They said nothing about, they said spinal pain, headaches. But other than that, it's all organic function. That's what we need to look at. Structure determined function. Everybody agree with that in every form, right? Say yes or yes. Good. So the curve in your spine should be in a proper arc. That's a before right there, if you notice. Sorry about that. So the before right there, you'll see that doesn't have the proper curve. That's after a certain amount of time in my office of correcting that structure. This guy, Alfred Briggs, he's a neurosurgeon, said that the connection to the bones and the alignment, if that's out of alignment, it stretches the spinal cord and causes disease. He's a Nobel Prize winner back in the 80s and 90s. Alfred Briggs, look him up. Every inch forward is another 10 pounds of pressure. So if you have a 12-pound head, 10 pounds, 2 inches. 42 pounds if you have 3 inches forward head posture. We check for that in the office. We analyze that. And we're going to give you an opportunity possibly to do that in our office. This is Anthony. He came to us at 4 years old with asthma, chronic suffering. Unbelievable. He actually, unfortunately, his mom was at last hope. She had him on prednisone and he was like breathing through a straw. He said, "Doc, can you help me?" I was new in practice. I said, "You know what? We'll do our best. We'll see. I know chiropractic works. Let's get him adjusted. Let's get him realigned neurostructurally." We evaluated him. You see on the bottom, unfortunately, it's not that clear, but you see that red scan? That's what we do over at the booth. You can get scanned today. And we did the posture, and we also took x-rays. He had a straight neck, no curve, forceps vacuum extraction, reaction from vaccines. I'm talking your language, most of you who've done the Naval Expo. All this stuff happened. Corticosteroids, antibiotic, anti-antibiotic. Couldn't poop. After the adjustment, look at the change. Look at his health. His mom, he puked up all that mucus, medications, no coughing, was able to play soccer with the kids. By the 12th visit, off all his medications, and he was disease-free, no more asthma. How many of you know friends and family members? Raise your hands that are suffering with diseases. Raise your hands. Everybody, we have it. How many of you individually are suffering and don't know that the structural connection of the spine, they know. They both get adjusted since they're born. That's little Fiona and Matthew. his mom quoted him adjusting, her mom quoted adjusting Matthew. That's the future generation. What do they say? Imitation's the best compliment, right? So what are we offering you guys? Now, this is not by any means, we are abundant and blessed. This is not by any means a sales pitch for you, but this is an opportunity for you. I want to give you an opportunity to have something you've never had. I've been to the chiropractor before. You have not been looked at this way, I can guarantee it. Why? Because I've created these technologies, not the actual scans, but the combination of all that, which I analyze. And on the second visit, I review with you exactly what we found. And the good news is when we find that your issue, we know where it is, and then we reevaluate like we did with Anthony. We recheck, we re-x-ray. Oh my God, I hate x-rays. They cause all these things. Yes, but the information you get off of the structure, when your spine's in better alignment, any issues that x-rays give you or radiation give you, the benefit outweighs because we can see the change in your structure. So those holistic people, I agree, we don't want to over-irradiate and give all these diagnostics, but if we can get to the cause of your problem, how exciting would that be? Right? Wouldn't that be awesome? And so what we do here, and we do, of course, hands-on in our office to check the spine, the postural analysis, which you'll see the machine outside, posture and gravity assessment to measure the balance between left and right sides, your computerized scan, which shows infrared heat sensors pull off where these subluxations and misalignments are, where and how severe your bone is pinching on that nerve, which you might not have any pain. You always feel a cavity. Who raised their hand if you always felt your cavity? But you go for checkups, don't you? To the dentist. Anybody have a grandma that has no teeth? You can live with no teeth. Your spine, on the other hand, not so much, right? It's your lifeline. We just said it, right? So who should get checked? Oh, well, who should get checked? My booth's going to be busy, let me tell you. So we also will recheck that, and as anybody who takes the step today, you'll actually have the opportunity to get the hydro massage and cold laser therapy. We don't have the hydro massage, that's one of those heated water beds, and the laser we do have at the booth. So I'll give you that at the booth, and if you sign up with my wonderful gal, you look to the back, folks, that young, beautiful girl right there, Caitlin, she has 3 books, my books. The first 3 people to sign up get a complimentary autographed book. All right. And my wish for you folks, amazing little story about a family who unfortunately, fortunately so, they had a great story. Every year they would use cake and their wishes to be able to manifest what they want each year. So each year you get a big piece of chocolate cake, and if you're 15 years old, you get 15 wishes. If you're 30 years old, how many wishes do you get? 30. So Dad turned 40, and unfortunately Dad had 40 wishes that year. So everybody's so excited. They had a huge party for him, and they gave him the opportunity to read his wishes. The first 3 wishes were, number 1, he wanted to take everybody to Europe, all his family. Yeah, Dad, you're the best. He wanted to run a marathon. They were like, we're going to support you, Dad, on that. That's great. I want to write my book. They were so excited. Unfortunately, 1 year later, at 41, he only had a very short list. He only had one thing written down. And guess what that was? To be healthy. Because the truth is, in that year, he contracted cancer. And unfortunately, when you have your health, you have many, many wishes. When you have lost your health, you only have one wish. And I'm going to tell you right now, today, my wish for you as a holistic, structural corrective, neurological chiropractor is to help you and your family achieve the most amazing, incredible health, naturally, without drugs and without trauma. And it's an amazing experience. And if you are interested, we'll have that opportunity for you to do. That special, by the way, is normally $500 value. It's only $49 today at the fair, today and tomorrow. So it's my blessing and pleasure. Thank you for the time and energy. You have a wonderful day.